Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Let's try this again. I don't know what just happened. The internet just shit the bed for a couple of minutes. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. That was another battery. If you go, I'll probably delete the previous live stream. That's 11 minutes. But those of you that are still here, you got to see now two batteries from this, what amounts to a Mobula 7 1S ELRS with a motor swap. This is a set of 0802 30,000 kV motors that's on here. It's actually also set up props in, which I'm going to be screwing around with a little bit now to see if, I don't know. Props in helps Cinewhoops quite a bit. Tiny whoops are like little miniature Cinewhoops, so maybe props in will help these little bastards. We'll see. I'm going to start kind of farting around with it. The tune on this is a mess, as you could just see. On these 75mm rigs, because the combination of motors, all up weight, KV, is not as dialed in as 65mm rigs, you got to go bananas with the PID gains to get these things tuned right. Like, you got to get like the master multiplier. If you're just tuning with the master multiplier, you got to get it up to like 1.8, 2.0. If you're tuning with the damping and the tracking sliders, you're going to kind of do the same thing. You're going to have them up 1.8, 1.6, 2.0, 1.8. At the moment, the tracking sliders are at 1.2, 1.0. So, yeah, that's why the tune was kind of a mess. There is some jello in the camera, though, which is in the FPV feed, which is interesting. But I did just notice that the camera screws are not. Maybe they are tight, and the little mount piece is screwed up. Nope, they're just not tight. I just didn't tighten them. User error. So yeah, that'll hopefully help out with the jello issue. I threw this together in a hurry. But the reason that I built this is to test it against the existing Jungle Gym Basher, which is on 0802 27,000 kV motors, the iGao 1.5mm motor shaft 0802 onesies in 27. And so, yeah, I wanted to have two pretty much identical rigs. We weighed them on the previous 11-minute live stream. There is a 0.7 gram difference because this one is an actual Mobula 7 1S with the X12 board, which is a little bit heavier. This is the AIO from an old school Mobula 6 ELRS, the 5 amp AIO. No real reason for the X12 other than like the VT, it's a bigger, heavier board, so it's a bigger heat sink, and so when you crank the VTX up to the YOLO setting, which is 400 milliwatts, the X12 is going to do a little bit better there. But yeah, if you've got a Mappymodel 5 amp board, it'll handle either one of these motors completely fine. Yeah, I just happen to have an X12 board, and the X12 board only really fits in this frame that these are both on, which is the Mobula 7 V4 frame. I tried to do a head-to-head comparison, but after about 30 or 40 seconds, the one of the battery leads popped off of the 27,000 kV rig. So I'm not totally sure if it's really worth it to go up to 30. I mean, it's not, because there is not an 0802 30,000 with a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft. So unless you're willing to Frankenstein motors like I did, which you shouldn't because it's just silly, yeah, the 0802 27,000s are amazing. And they're the way to go. This is one hell of a rig for bouncing around jungle gyms, out in front of your house, behind your house, whatever. Small spots, this is a really fun rig to fly. Technically, you can fly this inside the house, but it's really difficult. It's got so much power. It's so heavy. 65 millimeter rigs, unless you're like, you know, absolute top tier pilot, which I am not. 75 millimeter rigs inside the house is a little bit of a nightmare. It's just too hard to fly. The 65s are miles better inside the house if you want to do cool stuff. Like if you just want to fly in the house and you don't care about like doing actual like flying hard and doing tricks and wall rides and power loops and matty flips, then it doesn't matter. Like if you just want to have something that flies in the house, build a fucking 5-inch rig for all I care. Kill your children, whatever. But if you want to actually have fun in the house and do things, 65 millimeter is hands down king. It's just the weight, really. Like the weight of the 65 millimeter rigs keeps it from sliding around so much, so you crash like half as much, and that's way more fun. So yeah, unless you're, like I said, absolute top tier pilot, then it doesn't matter what you fly because you're just that good. But that ain't me. That ain't me. In the previous chat, Kevin Sumner was first, Troy Prelog was next, Bob Bruce, Northern Tier FPV, Metal Dirtskin, Riot 9, Wake and Bake, Frank Nicholas, Timmons, Jay Hines, Some Guy FPV, Freelojo, Northern Tier, Mr. Blue Sky, Matt Norton, McMucus, Jay Hines, Volusia, Raging Gleet, Tongue Out FPV, Riot 9, R Glaz, Jay Hines, Steve FPV, Max Weiner, Bo Weber, Padawan FPV, Wilkinson, Doubles FPV, Limits, Decabacow, Car Guy for Life, PDFPV, Mr. Blue Sky, Kevin Sumner, Newt McFly, FPV Graybush, Riot 9, Denzel the Terrible again, 8-Bit FPV, Max Miner, Tongue Out again, Mac FPV, Curtis Hayes, and then my internet shit the bed. In the previous chat, Ant BVTHC, I see in the new chat, Marshmallow Hunters, Upside. What's up, everybody? I'll leave it there. Bob Noxious, Limits. Thanks for coming. Let's talk some shit, yo. In the previous chat, hey, if you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV, no space in between. CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange for me, and I'll read your comment. You can also do a super chat if you'd like to support somebody that's doing FPV full time, and you know, it's a struggle to do that. Like if you're one of the OG, like top, you know, Rotor Riot pilots, you gotta, that internet fame will sort of carry you to some extent. Those guys are obviously still, not obviously, but I can tell you, those guys are still working hard as hell. But if you don't have that like OG internet fame, it's a struggle. But we struggle together, my friends. Help a brother out. Go over to CiottiFPV.com. There's a million ways you can support me. Some of them are free. Some of them cost you a couple of bucks. Whatever you can do, it means a lot to me. Etsy, you can buy some fun stuff. Teespring, same deal. Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me. I'll help you fly better, build better, tune better. And then there's a whole bunch of affiliate links. Also, Patreon is the way you can help me out the most. 10 cents a day to join my Patreon. It's not a lot of money. FPV is not a hobby that's super, super cheap. If you want the good info and you want it to keep coming and you want me to keep being able to buy stuff to review, Patreon is your best bet. And you get a ton of benefits. There's a YouTube playlist you'll get access to that's unlisted. A couple of Facebook groups that I don't really monitor anymore because Facebook can suck it. And yeah, some other stuff. Arglaz with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, homie. He says, "Love the stream. You brought me to whoops from 5 to 7 inch land. Detailed question in chat. Tried Betaflight 4.4 reloaded VTX table and new antenna VTX dead on arrival." All right, so this is not me trashing on you, Arglaz, at all. This is a public service announcement. When you buy a rig, don't reflash Betaflight. Ever since Betaflight 4.2, it's amazing. It crushes every other flight firmware out there. Of course it does. It's open source. There's been 30-some people working on it for way longer than any of the closed source stuff. Betaflight 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, now 4.5, they're all amazing. The improvements from 4.2 to 3 to 4 to 5 are very, very small. I have a lot of rigs that are still on 4.2. It's not worth 5 minutes of my time to flash them. They fly great. The improvements on the newer beta flights are not phenomenal, especially for like freestyle rigs. There's some stuff for like long range that's in there that's great. There's some HD OSD stuff that's great for digital rigs, but like any analog rig that you buy, leave it alone. Leave the current, as long as it's like later than 4.2, which it will be. So yeah, if you get a bind and fly, if you get a new rig, or even if you just get a flight controller that has 4.2, 3, 4, 5 on it, leave it. Don't flash it. When you flash it, there's all kinds of weird stuff that can happen. They might have a custom VTX table in Arglaz's case that gets wiped out. They might have a custom tune on it. If it's a bind and fly, a lot of times there'll be a custom tune on it, and when you update it, you wipe that out. So yeah, don't flash stuff by default. At the very least, fly it out of the box as it is. What you're going to do, if nothing else, is make sure that it works. And then if it doesn't, you just shoot an email directly to who you bought it from and say, hey, right out of the box, this thing didn't work. Versus if you're not a liar, you do whatever you want. You send an email that says, hey, I updated it right out of the box and now it's not working. They're going to be like, well, what the hell? What'd you update it for? You know what I mean? You could certainly just send them the same email that says, hey, it didn't work right out of the box, but you do you. I'm not going to tell you to lie to them. Arglaz says, only reason I flashed it was because it wasn't working. That is a great reason to flash it, Arglaz. Stop screwing with it. Do not have Stockholm Syndrome. We all have Stockholm Syndrome, and we all think that we've broken everything. You didn't break it, dude. Don't spend your time. If you didn't break it, don't spend your time. Fire an email to whoever you bought it from and say, hey, this thing didn't work right out of the box. I tried reflashing it and that didn't help. I need you to send me another one. Don't like, hey, what can you do for me? Like, I'm sending this back. I need you to send me another one. Don't give them the option. And that's that. Don't dive down the rabbit hole. I mean, first and foremost, if it didn't work right out of the box, you're not going to get it to work. Like, I guess maybe you could, but like, it's just, if it wasn't ever working, your troubleshooting is a nightmare, because where do you even begin, right? Like, it's never worked before, so you have no idea what happened for it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, it was working and then I slammed it into a tree, or it was working and then I turned on bidirectional D-shot, or, you know what I mean? You have no place to base any of your troubleshooting on. So you're just like doing this to troubleshoot it, and it's going to take forever, and it's just insane that you know, they would have said something that sent something that doesn't work. And like I said, it's probably broken anyway. Like, if it doesn't work fresh out of the box, especially if you then reflash it rather, and it still doesn't work, like that's, and you know, VTX, when it comes to VTXs, like, as long as you have the right VTX table on there, what is it? What rig is it, out of curiosity? Because I have, I bought 2 of the previous generation Mobula 6 elrs AIOs, and I do the dumb thing, and I change things before flying them, and just immediately dive in. But I've built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rigs. Yeah, I had 2 Mappymodel F4 AIOs, ELRS AIOs, that right out of the box had the wrong VTX table on them. So if that's what it is, if it's an OG, if it's one of these, there's a chance that it had the wrong VTX table right out of the box, and then when you flash it, oh, it is. Oh, our Glaz! Sucks to be you, my friend. It sucks as much as it does to be me. Welcome to hell. Actually, no, not welcome to hell. I spent hours and hours and hours. I spent like 3 hours last Thursday figuring this out. Yeah, so out of the box, the VTX table was wrong. And then you flashed it, and that VTX table is wrong as well. Lucky for you, I did the hard work and found the correct VTX table in the support section of Mappymodel's website. So yeah, you're gonna be okay. Although there was something else wrong with this rig. Oh, you might run into ELRS binding problems. If you run into ELRS binding problems, so I went over 3 hours in. One of the problems was the VTX. The other problem was it wouldn't bind to ELRS. And I actually had to contact Jason from Mappymodel for help. I just tried everything, couldn't figure it out. The problem was the packet rate. That AIO will only work on 250 hertz packet rate. Hold on, let me double check that. It might actually be 100. I think it was this module that I ended up. I think it was ELRS 3.0. No, it is 250. Yeah. So you have to have your packet rate at 250. Won't work on 100. Won't work on 500. Won't work on whatever the other ones are. Packet rate has to be 250, and then it will bind, and then it will work. Yeah. Last Thursday, I had the true full FPV experience. 7+ years into this, of nothing works. Nothing works. The VTX table doesn't work. The VTX didn't work. I had to figure out that it was the VTX table. Here comes the link in the chat. There's the link to it. Here's what you want. Go to that link, and then you're going to scroll down to here, and this is what you need right here. Just copy this highlight this, copy it into the clipboard, paste this into the CLI, and then you will have the correct VTX table, and your video will magically work again. Yeah, total nightmare. I have to assume that Mappymodel got absolutely hammered from all of these AIOs and Mobula 6s that went out with with these problems because, yeah, nasty stuff. Non-working VTX right out of the box. ELRS that'll only bind on 250 hertz. Oof. Oofa. So yeah. The third problem. All right. So in the receiver, in Betaflight, in the receiver page, there are 3 buttons in the bottom corner. Bind, which you're going to have to hit. So you're going to have to hit bind. You plug the quad in, hit bind. The quad is going to go into bind mode. On your transmitter or your module, you're going to hit bind. It's going to bind, and then and you're going to get, for a split second, all of it's going to bind, and so all of your levels are going to come up for just a split second, and then they're all going to go away. You have to then hit the refresh button that's right next to the, for you guys it's this way. So you have to hit bind, wait until it binds, it'll freeze, then you have to hit the reset button that's right next to it, or I think it's refresh, and then you have to hit save. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying this to mess with you all. I'm dead serious. That was like 20 minutes with Jason. After we figured out the 250 hertz thing. I don't know if that's a Betaflight thing or if that's an ELRS thing. My hunch is it's an ELRS thing. Ooh, boy. Oh, boy. I can't believe anybody is still in FPV. I can't believe every single one of us haven't quit. Just, like, come on. McMucus tagged me in the previous live stream and said, Flamin' lips, wonky nips, and all the ships at sea. CiottiFPV said, what's going on, guys? Bo Weber says, what's up? Finally had weather break. Got 17 batteries in today. Much needed, LOL. Very cool. I got 2. But 2 is better than none. And I'm going to try to get 5 more here on this live stream. Kevin Sumner says, don't forget to update the stream description. It still has the blurb from cloning Monday night settings. Thank you, dude. Can I do that in here? Where's the... I'll do it afterwards, I guess. I'll forget to do it. Max Miner says, sup gang, put my BLV4 guts and motors onto a crown frame and I can't seem to get good PIDs. Any advice? Been trying the top 2 sliders and the bottom slider. BLV4. Okay, so my big question is going to be what frame it was in previously. My guess is going to be that it was in the old school cockroach frame, the old school newbie drone cockroach frame, which has 4 standoffs. So the motor is here, and then it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 standoffs to connect the motor mount base to the duct. That's the old school cockroach frame. The new school cockroach frame only has 3. You probably didn't have it in the new school cockroach frame. The old school newbie drone cockroach frame is nice and stiff, and that helps with that helps you push the PIDs up higher, basically more aggressive PID tune. The WeBleed crown frame is significantly lighter than that frame you're probably coming from, but it's also much more wobbly, so you're not going to be able to have the same PIDs that you did on that stiffer frame. You should still be able to get a relatively aggressive PID tune, although it depends on like everything else with the build. It depends on how beat up your propellers are, how beat up your motors are. Do you have any wires that are jammed up against the AIO that are sort of like hard mounting it? There's all kinds of stuff that can sort of change. What you need to have is you need to have your AIO floating. That's why we have rubber grommets on all 4 corners. You want the AIO to float and the quad to vibrate underneath it. So if you've got like a wire that's pinching the frame to the AIO, that's going to hard mount that AIO, and it's going to shake along with the rest of the rig. So since you changed frames, it sounds like there's the potential that happened. There's also the potential that newbie drone AIO just doesn't work right in that frame, but that crown frame is based on the Meteor75 frame, and I'm pretty sure that I've put that BLV4 into a Meteor65 frame, and it was fine. Sometimes, like with okay, so perfect example. This is the Beta FPV Meteor75 Air frame. Beta FPV designed this frame for their cross-style AIO. If you put pretty much any other AIO into this frame, this little piece of plastic here hits the... but you're going to have the AIO pushing up against a piece of plastic. So every single bit of vibration coming into this frame is going to drive right up into the AIO. Is it screwing up again? I don't have any dropped frames, so this is on YouTube. There's just nothing I can do. I'm just gonna keep going, and hopefully YouTube gets its shit straightened out. But typically they don't. Yeah, I can see it. 844. Yeah, nothing I can do. Everything's fine on my side. My internet is 600 gigaflops per millisecond. So yeah. There you go, my friend. That is the full picture of what could potentially be happening. If you've crashed that rig a lot, the motor shafts are probably bent. First thing you want to do is swap the propellers out. Absolutely, like always. That is always your first troubleshooting step. Propellers are cheap, and rigs fly better on fresh propellers. So do that first. If that doesn't help, your motor shafts are probably bent. That's the most common failure point in tiny whoops. The motor shafts are only 1 millimeter thick, and that's not thick enough. And so what you can do is like go into turtle mode and just spin each motor up individually, or go into the motors tab and hold the quad and spin each motor up individually. Props on, props off, it doesn't matter. Do it both ways, ideally. And what you might find is that your front motors vibrate harder than the rears. That's a dead giveaway that the motor shafts on the front motors are a little bit bent. Even fresh motors, there's going to be a little bit of a vibration. It's really difficult to balance these little tiny motors. You're going to feel most of the vibrations at about 30% throttle, not at 100% throttle. So yeah, spin each motor up individually. One motor will probably be fairly smooth. That's what all of the motors were when they were new, before you started crashing it. If you have a situation where one motor is really smooth and then you've got one motor that's really vibrating like crazy, or maybe two motors, maybe both front motors are vibrating like crazy, it's a mechanical problem. Those motors have bent motor shafts. Technically, if you pull the PID tune down far enough, that rig will become flyable again, but it'll fly like ass. The solution is to fix the mechanical system, not cripple the PID tune. Unless, like, you just want to fly a battery or two and you've already ordered the replacement motors, you know what I mean? So yeah, there you go, my friend. Very common thing. Yeah, crashing bends up motors, and bent motors vibrate really hard. And there's only so much vibrations that the flight controller can understand before it thinks that those vibrations are prop wash. And it starts freaking out because it thinks it's always in prop wash. Mac FPV says 2G board notification for Pyrodrone just came in for them back in stock. 2G board? 2G board. 2G board? I'm about to do a Pyrodrone order. 2G board. I'm just typing 2G board into there. Pyrodrone's website just shit the bed. Did the stream just shit the bed? Oh, the 2G4F, 2GF4 rather. Mappymodel AIO. Why? Oh, there we go. I don't know. That first search that I did. Yo, go buy these. Buy them. Go now, friends. Go. Here's the link. Here's the link in chat. If you want a tiny whoop, get one of these now. Go get one of these right now. The Mobula 6 2024 boards are coming, but there's also another chip shortage coming. And the price is going to change on the Mobula 6 2024. So seriously, if you want to build a tiny whoop within the next few weeks or to a month, just get one of these. The Mobula 6 2024 board is like a tiny little bit lighter. There will be a motor plug version of it at some point, but like this board is great. I actually prefer that this board has a camera plug. Oh my God, there's only 10 left. Kevin Sumner says only 10 left. There were 29 30 minutes ago. Yeah, for real, like right now. I guess I don't need one. Man, it would be nice to have another one. They're for you guys. They're for you guys. Go. Get them. Sell this shit out. Let's watch it sell out. Ready? Available. Still says available. Let me see how many I can put in my cart. See if it'll let me put 10. Nope. Let's see how many are left. Nope. Oh, there's only 5 left. Oh, okay, yeah, they're already in my cart. Okay, yeah, so there's only 5 left. Hurry up. Let me remove them from my cart. Here's what I'm getting. I'm going to be building an 03 air unit cyclist chasing rig, and I'm going to dive into 6S with it. I'm going to use a Acon AK32 35 amp ESC, even though it's just a 2.5-inch rig, because I just want it to be infinitely reliable. And I figured it's a perfect time to start dicking around with 6S to see if there is any additional runtime that I can maybe get from 6S on these rigs. I really doubt it. The motors are tiny, little 1404s. But hey, if I can get 10 more seconds of runtime out of these live flying rigs, that's like a big deal. So yeah, getting a 550, getting a 650, another 550 here from GNB. I'm going to try out these Beta FPV Lava folded cell BT 2.0 batteries. I'm going to try out one of these Dogcom 320 milliamp. It's really not. A couple more of these 180 degree pigtails, because I'm going to be throwing these into all of the giveaways, and a set of the RC & Power 1003 22,000 kV motors to try on the Walksnail rigs, and they're gone. Good work, friends. Hell yeah. Wait. Nope. There it was. It's gone. Look what you did. Ah, sorry, DJ Beef. God damn it. Sorry, man. DJ Beef says, damn it, not fast enough. Wow, okay. Over on my Discord, there's a link to my Discord on CiottiFPV.com. In my Discord, in general nonsense, is where the majority of the people are kind of posting. If you guys see this AIO come in stock at any point, message me, private message me, or whatever, and let me know, and I will put in general nonsense at everyone. So make sure you join my Discord, and next time these come in and are in stock anywhere, I will at everyone, and you'll have a Discord notification from my channel, and away you go. Cool. Yeah, they're always on eBay. They're a little expensive on eBay, but yeah, you can always get them from eBay. Hopefully they'll actually ship. Nah, eBay is pretty safe. Okay. Mac FPV, thanks for the heads up. Very cool of you. All right, so I am now caught up on the old chat from the live stream that lasted 14 seconds before the internet exploded. In the new chat, Veritas Weasel tagged me and said, hey, bud, which cockroach frame should I get, 75 or 65? I saw that one of them breaks because it's pretty brittle. Yeah, the 75. The cockroach 75 frame has been around for a while. and it's very brittle. The Hot 75 frame is the Meteor75 Air. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work on any AIOs that are not the cross style, which is super annoying. But the Mappymodel Mobula 7 V4 frame is almost as good. So yeah, can't go wrong with the Mob 7 V4 frame for 1S. The Mobula 7 V3 frame for 2S is apparently unbreakable. I have one coming from Get FPV to test that claim and to maybe fuck around with 2S on these Walksnail rigs. We'll see. And then the Newbie Drone Cockroach 65 V3 frame is my favorite of all the 65mm frames. A close second is the new Mappymodel Mobula 6 2024 frame. And a close third is the WeBleed Crown frame. Lots of good 65mm frames available right now. There you go. Max Melner says, okay, we got that. Max, if you can't find anything mechanical going on, yeah, hopefully you have enough time here before the end of the stream. You've got an hour. Look at the mechanical setup, make sure nothing's pinched, spin those motors up, see if there's a motor that's vibrating really hard, change the propellers, do all the things we talked about. If none of that helps, hit me again in the chat, tag me again in the chat. But this time, I want you to tell me everything. Tell me the AIO, how many batteries you've put through it, how hard you've crashed it, what the frame it was on previously, what motors it's on, how did the motors feel when you spun them up, what propellers you're running. Tell me everything. Tell me as much as you possibly can. It's so hard to troubleshoot these things through the internet. I really need to know lots and lots and lots and lots of info to stand a chance at troubleshooting it. But I've already got you on a really good path. And the path that you're already on is where like 80%, I would say like 80% of the problems come from, which is basically just the motor shafts getting bent. But yeah, tell me as much as you can if that's not the issue, and we'll keep going with it. AntBVTHC says, one of my cross AIOs has terrible elrs connection. I lose telemetry at like 30 yards away. Is there something I can do to fix it, or is it just a faulty AIO? It's probably just a faulty AIO. The only thing you can really do to fix it is to look at where the antenna is and make sure that the antenna has somehow not like broken free and is not connected anymore. If it had broken free, it would have fallen off. So if the antenna is still there, it's probably fine. The Beta FPV Cross AIO is what all of the racers run, and in terms of like reliability, they don't have great things to say about it. So yeah, the AIO is probably shot, but check the antenna, and that's about all. Yeah, that's kind of it. McBucas says, I just saw PowerDrone has the old school ELRS boards in. Not anymore. Limit says, is it really worth it to take off the heat sink from the Walksnail VTX? It is, man. It's 1.2 grams, which is like a lot. I saw you struggling last time. Also, what about the durability? Mine have been totally fine in terms of durability. I'm forgetting everybody's names today. Somebody commented on that video where I struggled to get it off, and they said, yo, don't use heat. It's a heat sink. It's meant to deal with heat. Just use a razor blade. You want to cut the adhesive. It's not adhesive, it's thermal paste. Apparently you want to cut it. I haven't tried that yet. I have a set of plastic razor blades coming to try it with. But yeah, apparently what you want to do is slide a little razor blade under the edge and cut through that thermal paste on all four corners, and then you can pop it up and out. I tried, I still have one of them that has the heat sink. I tried to use a little X-Acto knife here, and it was too thick. I thought that razor blades were the same thickness. Maybe the plastic razor blades are thinner. Yeah, I don't know, but that's what was told to me is the hot way to do it, and I want to do it right because I've already fucked up one of the VTXs by prying that heat sink off. best bet is to just buy it without the heatsink, but right now it's not in stock anywhere without the heatsink, and apparently they're not going to be selling it without the heatsink anymore. So we might need to figure this out. But yeah, don't try to not do what I did. Try not to have to pry it off, because, I mean, you never want to do that, right? Like, these are surface mount components. If you start pulling up on them, it's not good. Like, that's the weakest direction for them. But yeah, I don't see a way of getting anything. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when the plastic razor blades get here. Maybe they're thin. Maybe they're thinner than metal ones. I don't know. Arglat says, just got talked about that. All right, good deal. Bob Noxious is in the house. CBFPV says, out of context, kill your children. Freelojo with dropping the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. CMYK saying hello. Arglaz, thank you again for the $9.99 super chat, man. Super generous of you. Mafi says, did you ever test out motors with bearings like Beta FPV or Newbie Drone motors? Yep, I tested out the Newbie Drone motors. Beta FPV was supposed to send me a set of their motors, but it just never happened. Initially, they were going to send me a set, and I forgot to reply to their email. And then I eventually did reply to their email, and they said, yeah, we'll send them. And I gave them my info. And then, to be honest, I kind of forgot about it, and they have not arrived. So either they got lost in shipping. Usually they'll send me a tracking number. So yeah, either they forgot or whatever, but I don't know. The Beta FPV motors are not, same thing with the Newbie Drone motors. They're just not quite high enough kV for my power-hungry ass. I don't know. Quad 66 did some testing with the Mappymodel motors versus the Newbie Drones and the Beta FPVs, I think. And basically what he found, and this is what was told to me a long time ago, is that the bearings don't last very long. Supposedly the bearings that they're using are like dental grade bearings that they use in like the dental drills, which are a much lower RPM. Apparently the RPM that we turn is way higher than what those bearings are rated for. So the bearings just kind of fall apart. And that's basically what Quad 66 found, is that after a bunch of batteries, the bearings started to get really noisy, and the bushing motors started to run a lot better than the bearing motors. So, like, if you're not going to crash and you're not going to fly the rig much, I guess, the bearings will be better for a little bit. But yeah, I don't really recommend them. The Mappymodel motors, the Mappymodel Tiny Whoop motors are magic. I mean, it kind of makes sense. They've been making these little tiny motors for longer than anyone, and they've been doing more of them, like more different KVs and sizes than anyone else. So it makes sense that their motors would sort of rise to the top. And they really do. Like, anytime I've ever seen testing of Beta FPV or Newbie Drone or any of these other micro motors versus Mappymodel, the Mappymodels always come out on top, other than RC and Power. The RC and Power 1002s are apparently magic. I have a set on the way, so I'll let you know soon enough. But yeah, the Mappymodel motors are almost impossible to beat. Martin Tanley says, do you ever use 180-degree pigtails to make plug-and-play management easier on Whoop, such as the new Mobula? I do indeed. I have a... I've been doing my own little version forever. I started doing this probably about a year ago. You basically just bring the wires in at a 45-degree angle onto the plugs there, and then just wrap a piece of shrink wrap around the top there. Hang on, guys. Maggie's calling, and she's abroad. Not abroad, but hey, baby, what's up?
Are you streaming?
I am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I got it backwards.
Oh.
The time difference backwards. I'm sorry. All right, I'll let you go.
Yeah, how about, wait, you're 2 hours behind?
Just one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
I on it and saw that. I thought that you had ended your stream like a while ago.
Yeah, the internet went out, and so that stream stopped, and now I had to make another one real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, tell your fans I said hi. Call me after.
They can see you. Sort of. Not really. Love you.
Bye.
Priorities, my friends. Priorities. Yeah, so I've been doing that forever. That works pretty good, but to be really honest, this is what you want. This is the new Beta FPV 180 degree. It's just amazing. The best part about this, I know it's not in focus, but you can see what it is. There you go. The best part about this is that this is really easy to grip onto to actually unplug and plug. The pain in the ass about this little do-it-yourself thing is that if the plug is really plugged into the battery hard, you'll pull this shrink wrap right off when you're trying to unplug it. These are cheap. Just get these. These are absolutely brilliant. So good. So good. Do it. Well worth it to get a set of 6 of these little guys and switch all your rigs over. It's just perfect. They did it absolutely perfect. Arglaz says, oh no, we got that. CMYK with the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Mo FPV's in the house. He says, props in, huh? How is it? It seems okay. It's hard to tell because the tune was so bad. Let me show you. Now I'll just tell you. I threw the rig together, and I just wanted it to fly. So the damping slider is at 1.2, and then the tracking slider, which is P&I gain, is in 1.0. Normally with these 75 millimeter rigs, in order to get the tune like somewhere near where I think it flies half decent, and where this one is the damping slider at 2.0 and the tracking slider at 1.8. Sometimes so that's like maxed out. Sometimes I'll then have to go down to the master multiplier and start raising that up to just continue to get more and more PID gain as a band-aid for the fact that the 75 millimeter rigs are kind of fat, and the motor prop battery voltage combination is just not as dialed in as all of the 65 millimeter rigs. So yeah, it's really hard to tell, but the main thing that I'm testing between these two rigs is whether or not 802 30,000 kV motors make sense, whether it's like a significant enough jump from 802 27,000s. And I think maybe it is. I think maybe it is a noticeable jump, but it's not. Just by the fact that I just said, like, I think it kind of is, it's not night and day. So for the amount of effort that it is to build yourself an 802 30,000 kV 1.5 millimeter shaft motor, I don't necessarily think it's worth it. But I only got like 40 seconds on this before the wire broke off. So I'm going to redo this test tomorrow after I have a chance to fix this goddamn thing. I can't believe that happened. I can totally believe that happened. I'm very annoyed that it happened, though. Props in versus props out, I'm also very curious about. Although I just noticed that both of these are props in. God damn it. That's actually a good thing, because if one was props in and one was props out, that if there's a significant difference there, then the difference in the motors might be muddied. So I'm actually kind of glad that these are both props in. I didn't even realize that I did that. So yeah, I will test the motors first, and then what I'll do is I will motor limit one of these down so that they're both 27,000 kV, and I'll put one on props in, one on props out, and I'll try to figure out if there's a noticeable difference between them there. If you guys hear screaming, don't worry. It's Azalea playing Fortnite. What's with kids and screaming when they play Fortnite? I know it's not just this one. I've seen like more than one memes on Instagram about kids screaming when playing Fortnite. I thought it was just Azalea. Arglaz says, that's it. Nice. There you go, brother. Good luck binding it. Although maybe you already have it bound. Upside says, what's packet rate? Packet rate is... I don't have a full understanding of what it actually is, but what it does is raise and lower the latency. The higher the packet rate, 250, 500, 100, 250, 500, every time you step up there, the latency goes down. So the higher the packet rate, the less the control link latency. 250 is pretty fucking high. 250 is blows away anything that TBS has ever done. And FR Sky. So yeah, it's not the end of the world that we can only run these tiny whoops at 250. That's a massive improvement over everything else that exists. But the annoying thing is that I usually run my packet rate at 100, because with the lower packet rates, there's a small increase in latency, but but you get better range. And I always kind of error in favor of range versus. I think I changed it to 100 back when I put a second receiver into the live streaming rigs that I've got that I chase the bicyclists with. And I think I changed it to 100 before one of those events in case I needed to use that. And Crossfire did fail safe at that event, but I didn't end up switching over to ELRS. But yeah, I think I changed it back then, and then I just never updated it, and it's just been on 100 forever. Now that I'm on 250, I don't feel any difference. But yeah, that's what packet rate does. It's not what packet rate is. I guess it's just sending the packets more frequently, right? 500 hertz is 500 times a second, so it's sending the packets. The packets are the data. You move the sticks, that's a packet of data, it sends it. So yeah, at 500, it sends 500 packets a second, 250, 250 a second, 100 a second. So of course, if it's sending packets more frequently, there's going to be a little bit less latency there. So yeah, there's your technical description, I think. That should be what it is. Arglass says, you're the man. I've been troubleshooting it for hours as well. Thank you. You're welcome, brother. Enjoy. Curtis Hayes says, CiottiFPV to the rescue again. CMYK says, that's new info to me, but now I know. Thank you. You're certainly welcome. Yeah, that was, oh man, last Thursday. I didn't go chase the RC drift cars because of it last Thursday. I was trying to get the analog chasing rig to work on the new... Oh, okay. So, hey, for the 10 people that just ordered this Mappymodel ELRS 2G F4 board, you're going to have to go through that. I hate to break it to you, but you're going to have to go through that. You're going to have to grab... Here's the link again. Here's the link in the chat again. You're going to have to grab this VTX table right here. You're going to have to grab this chunk of text and drop this into the CLI in order for the VTX to work. And then in order for you to bind, you're going to have to be at 250 on your packet rate. And you're going to have to click the bind button, get it to bind. You're going to have to click the refresh button, and then you're going to have to click the save button. Good luck! 1B674H says, what's your go-to analog VTX for bigger rigs, 3.5 inch, 5 inch, and such? I don't have one. It used to be the Immersion RC Tramp, and I bought a whole bunch of them when they were going away. And... yeah, they're gone now. So I don't really know. My guess is going to be like some of the Rush stuff. Don't get the Rush 20x20 VTX though. That thing sucks. Get like the bigger Rush VTXs. Or TBS is okay. The TBS VTXs, just understand that they have like a lifespan. It feels like with the TBS VTXs, every time you power them up, they lose like a couple of milliwatts. Yeah, because like every time I've ever run, and I've spoken to so many people that have had this same experience, every time I've run a TBS VTX 100 batteries, 200 batteries, 300 batteries deep, it just starts to suck. Like the range gets less like every single time. So yeah, I don't know if they just didn't put enough of a heat sink in there and they're just overdriving it and it just fatigues over time or something. I don't know. It's weird. I thought electronics were supposed to either work or not work, but yeah, I constantly get proven wrong. So, yeah. 661FPV says, I thought the Mobula 6 2024 was a serial-based ELRS receiver. If it's serial, then there should be no bind button on the receiver tab. Only SPI receivers do. you are correct about the Mobula 6 2024, but that's not the rig that we are troubleshooting. We're troubleshooting the old school Mobula 6. Bob Noxious says, it's why I stay with Ghost. I'm going to have some Ghost stuff for sale. I've got a Ghost module and 3 Ghost receivers that are going to be for sale at some point. If anybody's interested, let me know. DJ Beef says, took 2 days to bind. That was my ELRS experience for months, probably 6 months. Was that I would do all the things. I would watch Joshua's video. I would watch every video I possibly could on ELRS binding. I would spend a few hours. I would get absolutely nowhere. I would give up. I'd come back to it the next day. I would do all the same shit, and magically it would work. I don't get it. ELRS has been way better recently, but yeah, I am really looking forward to. Apparently, there's a pull request for. Apparently the pull request is like make binding easier. God damn it. It's not god damn it, but yeah, there's a pull request to make binding doable by non-computer science master's degree holders. And so boy, will that be nice, but we're not quite there yet. Although it has become easier since early days. Upside says, interested in no problems, so seeing a Sky Zone 1.2 to 1.3 could be good. VTX and the other bit equals SIG. And then he says, typing sucks, F it. Sky Zone. I can't figure it out. I can't figure out what that... Tag me again, and I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out the second time. 6S1 FPV says, are you talking about the Mobula 6 2024 binding problems? Out of all the reviews I've watched, nobody said anything about binding problems. No, Mobula 6 2024, easy to bind. Plug it in, unplug it 3 times, it goes into bind mode. Hit the bind mode on your ELRS 3.0 transmitter or module, good to go. There's where the stream froze. Decabacow says, do you happen to know what I need to increase motor KV? Money. Is it thinner wires or more turns, or thicker wires and less turns? Look at this guy. I think Decabacow is about to rewind some motors. That's brave. More KV is less winds, so you want thicker wires. Technically, you don't need thicker wires, but you want thicker wires. The volume of the winding material is important, so that's why you want to go to a thicker wire when you're doing less winds. But you already got that because you said thicker wires and less turns. So yeah, yep, thicker wires, less turns is what you need. Let us know how that goes, man. I've heard that it's not that difficult. I just refuse to do it because in order for me to fly hard, I can't have 10 hours tied up into a build. Although I do on some of these, but I need to have as little time as possible tied up in a build for me to fly it hard. If I've got a whole bunch of time in a build, I don't want to fly it hard because I know I'm going to break it, and then I know I'm going to have to put all that work in again. So yeah, I don't do a lot of the really cool stuff that is doable, but just is super time consuming because I just know how I fly, and crashing is just something that is, I find it to be hysterical, first and foremost, but it's also how you get better as quickly as possible. So yeah, there's where the stream came back up. There's where we bought all of the Mappymodel AIOs. Curtis Hayes says, what motors to go with it? Go over to tinywhoop.com and get, or WeBleed, and get the highest, well, it depends. If it's a 65mm rig, get the highest KV 0702s that you can find. Bob Noxious says, I had a little tequila tonight. Nice, dude. Johnny then says, Pyrodrone, yep, we got that. Oh, wait, Pyrodrone also has the Mobula 6 ELRS in stock. No way. Anybody that didn't get the Anybody that missed the AIO, let's make sure that it's the right Mobula 6. Nope, pre-order for the 2024s, and then these are out of stock. All right, so they don't actually have the Mobula 6. Kevin Sumner says, the only thing that tempts me about 6S on 3-inch, 3.5-inch is motor KV becomes far less of a constraint. Yep, that's one of the other reasons that I'm doing it. I think I'm going to end up on 5S, to be honest. But I do want some 6S batteries so that I can weigh them and just kind of figure it out. But yeah, I agree 100%. The reason why 6S doesn't really make sense on smaller than 5-inch rigs is just basically that on a smaller than 5-inch rig, the powertrain that you're going to have in there is not going to pull enough amps for 6S to be a big of a real benefit versus 5S or 4S. And 4S, for example, is much less brutal on ESCs. A lot of times when we build a 3-inch rig or a 3.5-inch rig, we don't use $100 ESC because that's overkill, right? You get like a $30 or a $40 or a $50 ESC, and they're not as good as the $100 ESCs. Go figure. And so one of the best things that you can do for those, or an AIO. AIO is the same situation. Like, it's nowhere near as high quality as a good $100 5-inch ESC that can handle 6S all day long. So when you have this AIO or cheaper ESC, one of the best things you can do to make it last longer, more reliable, is to run less voltage through it. And 4S on rigs with powertrains, 3-inch, 3.5-inch, it's plenty. There's very little to no performance change, and the ESCs last a lot longer. So I really, really, really recommend you run 4S on everything that you've got smaller than 5-inch. Yeah, durability is a big deal for me. If it's not for you, then screw it. Run 6S on everything. But if you care about durability, if you care about not losing rigs in the tops of trees or on rooftops, stuff like that, yeah, 4S is king. The only problem that we have on 4S is exactly what Kevin mentioned, is that a lot of times the motors that are, like, so 1404s, for example, the highest KV 1404 I've ever seen is 4,600 kV, maybe 5,000 kV, and that's enough for a tri-blade 3-inch propeller, but it's not enough for a bi-blade 3-inch or a 2.5-inch propeller. And that's annoying. And so going up to 5S or 6S, you run that 4S kV motor and you get the extra RPM that we need for these like really high performance rigs. I wish that the motor manufacturers would just get their heads out of their ass and start making the motors with higher KVs, because we have motor limiting in Betaflight, which makes a motor with too high of a KV a really good thing. So there's that. But, you know, what do I know? I just work here. YouTube just did the thing, scrolling back up to try to find my place. There we go. I found it quick this time. CMYK says, I only got one. Walter says, in reference to the AIO, Walter says, you cannot buy on AliExpress. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold them on AliExpress. In the US, though, we typically don't order from AliExpress or Banggood, just because we're so spoiled with 4 massive, amazing shops here stateside. But yeah, Banggood and AliExpress usually have this stuff in stock at all times, and then you just let it rip. Wait a month and you got it. MoFPV says, I jammed the 2G4 in the airframe. No adverse effects yet. Not as tight as Meteor75 standard. I'm like 90% sure. Really? It was really pushing up against the battery tray for me. Like, to the point where it actually wouldn't sit all the way down on the grommets. And again, like, yeah, you can just crank the screws down, but like, ooh, I ain't doing that. Let me try again here. Yeah, see, no, it hits there. It's really not. it will not sit down. It's the camera plug that hits. That's what it is. It's the camera plug. Have you removed the camera plug on yours? Yeah, I mean, that hits bad, dude. Like the board won't sit flat. Did you remove your camera plug, or did you really just jam it? Just jam it home. See it? See the camera plug hitting? Like, I can't. And like, look how much it's sitting up. Like, look at that. You ran yours like that? I mean, like, yeah, I can jam it down, but now the front pops up. See so you ran it like that? You just rammed the screws home? Look at that. Look at the front. Front won't sit down. I mean, you can remove that camera plug. There are pads, absurdly small pads. I think it's one of these asininely small pads here that's video in, and then you just got to find 5 volts somewhere. Well, I mean, you could just power it off the battery leads. Might be one of those pads there. But yeah, you can direct solder a camera. It's just, I hate those little pads that they use on these boards. Those little tiny circular pads are the goddamn devil. So yeah, I don't recommend, but an X12 board won't fit. Never mind. They don't even have it silk screened which pads are which. And I'm pretty sure that if you break the camera plug off, there's not pads under it. Man, I could have sworn there was a slightly larger set of pads on here that you could solder to. But no, it must just be these stupid little circle ones. Yeah, I ain't doing that. That ain't me. Get in there. I do love the this Meteor75 Air frame for the Walksnail builds, though. The Walksnail 75 builds, because it's a little bit lighter and it seems like it's a really stout frame. So highly recommend it for that, but for square-shaped AIOs, unfortunately, it might not work. But we always run that risk. Matt Norton says, I want to take the guts out of my Cetus and put it into a 75mm 2S frame. Thoughts on compatibility? Might be okay. It's so hard to tell, man. Luckily, the frames are super cheap. Apparently, the 2S frame that you want is the Mobula 7 V3. I keep hearing that it's actually indestructible. It'll cost you $4. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can get another one. The other frame that'll work for 2S is the Newbie Drone Cockroach 75. That's kind of brittle. There's probably another one. I just can't think of it. Somebody in chat will now type, there's also the so-and-so 75 frame that accepts 2S. Walter says alcohol. Just alcohol. Northern Tier says, I have a Walksnail heat sink to remove. Be curious if cutting works. Oh, I think Walter was suggesting alcohol to get the heat sink off. Hey Teddy, where you at? Come here, buddy. Teddy, your presence has been requested. Bertos User says my fiance wants to see Teddy. He's still up. Yeah, he's getting fuzzy too. His hair's getting long. Upside says when I bought an soldering iron, I got 10 various tips. Upside, is that a Jeremy Clarkson reference? I got 10 various tips and selected 2. Now they're buggered. Where did I put the other tips? In a safe place. Fun. Yeah. Walter says alcohol softens the heat stuff. I still have one to do, so I will try it on this one. Not tonight, but I will try it on this one. Jesus, it's 9:30 already. CMYK says, anyone ever heard of Red Fox? I feel like I have, I just can't place it. Aaron Mueller says, why don't you use a binding phrase for ELRS? I do, but you still have to put it into binding mode, and you still have to do that nonsense. But I do use a binding phrase. Although, I think one of the other, don't quote me on this, but there's a chance that with this Mappymodel AIO that you can't use a binding phrase. Or maybe I was... Forget I said that. I forget. Binding phrase was one of the things that we were trying to troubleshoot. And I can't remember if I had to remove it or add it. I don't remember. But I do use a binding phrase. 1B says, what's your go-to... Oh, we got that. Upside says, good question from PDFPV. 0702 are lighter, guessing good on a 65X. Exactly right. Yeah. 702 is the right size motor for a lightweight 65mm build. It's just big enough that it has enough power and it can crank the really lightweight propellers even at higher KVs, but it's not so big that it's overly heavy and it drags the rig down. 702s are absolute magic. They run really well on the Gemfan biblades. They also run well on the Gemfan 1219S tri-blades and the HQ ultralight tri-blades. Those are the props that you want anyway. Walter says, if I can buy 5 Mobula 6s for €140, I can sell them quickly. Oh god, yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Wake and Bake types at Ciotti but forgets the FPV, but I just happened to see it. What do you think about the Screamer motors? 32,500, they're awesome. All of these 702s at 30,000 kV and above are amazing. They're all made by Mappymodel, so there's no difference in quality. Kevin Sumner says, packet rate is how frequently the position of the sticks and switches is sent over the air. It's not the same as, but is referred to latency. Upside says, so responsive, but loses range, I guess. Yep. CMYK says, question in Discord live. Live stream live, here it is. Somebody put a picture of their beaver up. Sub 250 Red Fox A3. Interesting. So it's an AIO. And it looks like it's... I don't think Sub 250 is a guy on Instagram. I don't think he made it. I don't think he makes anything. But I bet you he spec'd this out maybe. I guess Red Fox is the company that's making it. 35 amp, that's an awful lot. That's like you could run a 5-inch rig off of a 35-45 amp AIO. So that's a little bit of overkill. You'll pay a little bit extra for that for no real reason. But hey, that's what everybody's doing. Everybody is over-speccing AIOs nowadays. Oh, you can get a 35 amp version of it. Great. Get the 35 amp version. It is absolutely not worth $4 extra. You will never, ever, 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 ever get anywhere near 35 amps a channel with a rig that's going to have an AIO in it. Unless you put this in a 5-inch freestyle rig, but don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Interesting. Sub 250 on Instagram. Oh, okay. No. This is not the Instagram Sub 250. This is the company Sub 250. They seem to make okay stuff. I would think that this is okay. Look, AIOs are a total shit show. Like, with every single AIO that gets made, you're just rolling the dice. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll have too much electrical noise. Nowadays, they've been doing a much better job on the AIOs than they used to. It used to be like 90% of them were just garbage and worthless. But they've gotten an awful lot better. This one might be cool. It might not be. I don't really trust reviews either. So, like, I don't know. It's just a situation of, like, buy it and cross your fingers, which blows because it's $80. And in the end, you know, if the ESC lets go on it, you got to replace the whole goddamn thing. If the gyro lets go, you got to replace the whole thing. So I'm still violently against AIOs, especially at $80, $90, $100. Some frames require them. I think that we just shouldn't run those frames. Like, let's not support the terrorists that are holding us hostage by only building frames to that accepts AIOs. That's an awful thing to say because, like, really good friends of mine are making friends that require AIOs. But yeah, I don't know. AIOs can still eat shit and die as far as I'm concerned. Maybe this is a good one now. They have gotten way better at making AIOs. I still hate that format. Libet says, is the Super X as good as the 2G4 in your opinion? I don't mind about soldering motors and camera. I threw a ton of abuse at this Super X AIO, and it did not skip a beat. So in theory, yes, it's as good as the old school 2G4. But I'm maybe 100 batteries into this. I have 2G4s that I'm 1,000 batteries into, and they're still totally fine. So there's a chance that the Super X is not that good. I can't put 1,000 batteries through that rig. But thus far, I've been very impressed by it, and I don't get impressed by stuff often. So it's probably okay. It's just going to be hard to get your hands on it. Jay Hines says, I have a Mobula 6, soldered the elrs receiver to it. It's bound receiver and RM pocket, but the sticks don't work. I've watched Joshua Bardo's video and read ELRS site. I'm still lost. Welcome to hell, Jay Hines. Make sure that your packet rate is 250. Hopefully that fixes it. If that doesn't fix it, you've got to go into the receiver screen. You've got to click the bind button. You've got to bind it. You've got to hit the refresh button. You got to wait a second, and then you have to hit the save button. Kevin Sumner says, I've decided against 5S because there are so few battery options. Yeah, luckily there's a 550 mAh 5S battery, which is perfect. That's the exact weight that I want. But yeah, 5S is tough because there's like 10 batteries total for it. Titan says something, but YouTube didn't want me to read it, so it scrolled me down to the bottom of the chat for absolutely no reason whatsoever. As it does 5,000 times a live stream. Titan says, got any opinions on what frame to use for a 3.5-inch freestyle build? I've been thinking about the Grinderino since it's quite durable. My first suggestion is actually going to be to not do a 3.5-inch freestyle build. 3-inch is the way to go. 3.5-inch, when you build it to be about 250 grams, which is usually what like a 3-inch freestyle build will end up weighing, it's really floaty. It does not give you the 5-inch flying experience, and you're going to have to adjust your flying a little bit more between flying a 5-inch rig and flying the 3.5-inch rig, which for me just drives me nuts. Like I hate getting all my shit together and I get out there and I start flying and I have to put like 3, 4, 5 batteries in a row to adjust from this rig that I'm flying right now to the previous one that I flew. I've spent a lot of time and effort over the years figuring out the right mix of propeller size, all up weight, and power thrust, so that as many of these builds as possible, with all different propeller sizes, all different camera platforms, different all up weights, will fly as similarly as possible to the best flying rigs that exist, which are 5-inch freestyle builds. And at 250 grams, 3-inch is the way to go. I actually really like 3-inch at like 260, 270, even 280 grams. And then 3.5-inch rigs, they have to be like 320, 330, 340 before I feel like they have that good mix of float, horsepower, and just like throwability, basically. So yeah, that's gonna be my suggestion, is to not do a 3.5-inch build, unless like, so the advantages of the 3.5-inch build is going to be more power, more efficiency. If that's all you care about, hell yeah, 3.5 inches will absolutely do that. If you care about like a good flying experience and not having to adjust so often because you do have other rigs, I don't know, maybe you don't have any 5-inch rigs, it doesn't matter, but someday you will, guaranteed. Yeah, 3 inches is the way to go. The Quadmula Siren F3 is my favorite 3-inch frame at the moment. Unfortunately, it's out of stock. It'll be back in stock in a couple of weeks, apparently. I'm about to get one of their 2.5-inch rigs, actually. So, like, at 250, 240, 230 grams, I actually like the way that 2.5-inch builds fly, but we haven't really had many, if any, frames for them. But now we do. It was a while ago, but a year ago, the Quadmula Jin, DJIN is how it's spelled, 2.5 came out, and I've been dying to get one, but in the wintertime I don't do the I focus on tiny whoops. So now that the weather's getting nice again, yeah, I'm gonna snag a Jin and we'll see. The problem that I've had with 2.5-inch rigs in the past is finding a motor that's a high enough kV for the 2.5-inch propellers, and I will still have that problem this time, but I will have that problem on live streams, and we will look at all the motors out there to try to find the right motor so that we can all learn together. So that's coming up probably next month, realistically. Mo FPV says, jammed it and screwed it. LMAO. Jesus. Fair enough. Mo FPV is flying a hard-mounted AIO, and he's amazingly not having any problems. I assume that you're on fresh motors and props. Once the props start to get beat up or the motors start to get beat up, I think you are going to start to run into issues. That's typically what happens with a non-soft mounted board that the gyro lives on, in this case an AIO. But that's wild. Okay, fair enough. I mean, technically speaking, there's no reason that we couldn't come in with a Dremel and start to remove some of that material. I just worry about that because, you know, I want these things to be really durable. Titan says 2 to 3 batteries on the Meteor75 Air frame and it broke. And my friend broke it on like 1 to 2 batteries flown indoors, so it wasn't cold or anything. Great. I haven't really crashed mine very hard, but just in looking at them, they seemed like they would be pretty strong. I haven't really talked about them being durable or not. I just, yeah, sort of assumed. That's not great. Technically, maybe Titan and his friend both crashed exactly wrong, but 2 of them. Tuna Taxi says, what's up? What's up, homie? Upside says, be gentle with Teddy. He won't even come down here. He doesn't love me anymore. He knows I'm just going to use him for the stream. That's what it is. Ant BBTHC says, do you know how to update the firmware for the Mamba MK5 F435 stack? I don't. Betaflight can't update the firmware for the new chipset yet, apparently. It sounds like you know a lot more than me, Ant. So yeah, I would be playing catch up even to get to where you're at. So yeah, sorry, I can't help, brother. Kevin Sumner says, wasn't the binding phrase weirdness on the recent newbie drone bind and fly? Maybe. I've lost track, to be honest. I've lost track. Aaron Mueller says, I just put my binding phrase into Betaflight and hit save and it's bound. Awesome. Love that for you, my friend. Some guy FPV says, we need more 36,000 kV motors. Why does it seem like they will never come back in stock? You have to blame Mappymodel. It has nothing to do with Jesse from Tiny Whoop. Jesse orders as many of them as he can every single time. Mappymodel sends them as many as they can, and then we just eat them. It is Mappymodel's inability to make enough of them for us. It's also kind of our problem for wanting them so bad. And my problem for making you guys want them so bad. DJ Beef says, keep breaking the AIO mounting posts and or losing goober screws every dozen packs or so. Can I just reinforce it or should I move to a different frame? I know, just don't crash, bro. Just don't crash is never the answer. My favorite thing to do is run longer screws. On race day quads, they sell a Mobula 7 screw pack that has these slightly longer canopy screws. All it is an M1.2 screw. So you can go get like an M1.2 by 8 would be my guess screw, and that'll be long enough to go all. What I prefer is to run a screw. So you've got the post and then you've got a flat piece of plastic below it. I run screws that go all the way through the post and then all the way down into the flat plastic. and there is no goddamn way that I'm going to rip that big flat plastic piece up and out of there. So that's my main suggestion. E6000 is magic. You can probably glue it back on and get a bunch of batteries out of it, but it's always going to break again. DJ Beef says the lifetime frame replacement is great, but I'd rather be flying than repairing, and am willing to buy a premium if needed to do so. Now, just run longer screws, brother. Race Day Quads has them. I just ordered 5 packs of them because I want to start. I want to have them on hand for when I get messages like this, and then you say to me, "Hey, they sold out," and I could be like, "I got you, bro." Metal Dirtson says, "Have we already looked at the FPVCycle Cinesplore 2? Is it up there? I've been talking to Bob about it for months." Oh, there it is. Sweet. This frame has been through a bunch of different revisions, and Bob was cool enough to involve me in a little bit of that process. Yeah, this is what I'm going to be moving all my Cinesplores over to. I was really excited about the first version of this frame. The rear arms were actually mounted up top, under the top plate. But the problem Bob had is that the middle... Oh, never mind. It just didn't end up working out. This is fine. Yeah, this is very, very cool. The OG Cinesplore was, and still is, other than maybe this one, the best Cinewoop frame. But the arms were a little thin. In order to keep the weight down, the arms were only 3 millimeters thick. Let me show you the Cinesplore 2. Hold on. Wait till you see these arms. Wait till you see the number on these arms. Hold on. I'm going to get the weight measurement. Where's the old one? So here's the old one. I forget what the old one weighs. So the old one weighs 55 grams. The old school Cinesplore is 55 grams. The new one is 75. But here is the difference. Wow, it's 20 extra grams. I don't love that, but... oh man, it doesn't have it in here. It's like a 6 millimeter thick arm on the new one. Yeah, he doesn't have it called out. But I mean, you can see it. You can see it. Look at the thickness of this arm here. It's skinnier, which is great. For airflow, and it now does have the A-arm design, which isn't great for airflow, but at least they're skinnier. But yeah, look at that thickness and compare that to the current gen. You can probably see it here. There you go. Which is 3 millimeters thick. It's hard to get a sense of scale, but yeah, this is 3 millimeters thick, and the new one, I believe it's 6 millimeters thick. You'll see these old school arms are fatter and wider, but we don't really stress them in that direction. Like when you think of where the energy is going to come from, you know, this is a relatively wide arm, right? It's going to be really strong when you put force in this direction. Well, like, how often do you do that? How often do you go straight down and crash it like that? That's pretty rare. Usually we crash like this, right? So a thicker arm is going to take this hit and this hit a lot better. And yeah, it's become more and more obvious over the years that skinnier, thicker arms are the way to go. Sorry, not skinnier in the one dimension, thicker in the up-down dimension. You guys know what I meant. Shit, yeah, the new Cinesplore is out. Very cool. How dare he not tell me? I gotta just open up a window real quick so I can scream at him. I'm not gonna scream at him. Oh my god. What is this pin shit that Facebook is... Oh my god, you scumbags. Oh my god. I'm gonna message him right now. I'm asking him if there's any way to make it a little bit lighter. That's kind of a mean thing to ask, because I know I'm sure he busted his ass to make it as light as he can, but if it's worth asking, I guess. Thanks for the heads up, Metal. I completely forgot. He mentioned last week that it was going to go up any day now, and I've had a bunch of shit going on. YouTube did the thing again. Scrolling back up. Kevin Sumner says Sub 250 also makes a 1S AIO. It's linked in the live stream live also. Thoughts? Nobody's been able to, other than Mappymodel, nobody's been able to make a 1S AIO that's worth a shit. So I am immediately like, yeah, it's garbage, but maybe not. It does have an antenna here. So what's built in? ELRS or a VTX or both? My guess is going to be ELRS is built in. Let's see if we can figure it out. Red Fox A1, 5 amp. 2 versions. Without VTX and with VTX. Okay, so they built the VTX in. I bet you they didn't build in Express LRS. Oh, they did! Whoa! Oh, damn! Oh! Wow! That's a lot of dollars. Well, I sure hope it's good. That's a lot of dollars. Oh, look at this! That's too funny. That's too funny. Down with ceramic antennas, yo. It's got a bunch of pads. That is a definite complaint with the Mappymodel AIOs, is that they, in a lot of cases, they just don't have pads for this stuff. They'll have these stupid little dots in the middle that are like impossible. So that's great that they have actual pads for UARTs and LED and cam in, VTX out. So yeah, that's very cool. Whether or not this thing is actually durable, God only knows. But I love that we have another option, and if anybody chooses to go with one of these or already has, please let all of us know if it's held up. Looks like it comes with motor plugs, which is great. And then they've got these nice pads up here so that if you remove the motor plugs, you can direct solder. So that's great too. Yeah, it's just really hard to know if it's actually worth it. So many of these AIOs are just junk. It's really insane. Okay, it's only 59 without the VTX, so that's cool. This might be a good AIO for Walksnail builds, but I don't know. I've had really good luck with the beta FPV crosses, and they're going to be significantly lighter than this. So yeah, I don't know. I'll stick with those. Interesting. I hope it's good. I would love to have another AIO that's not trash. And Sub 250 seems to maybe make okay stuff. I haven't personally run it, and so I really hesitate with that statement, but I don't know. Northern Tier says, what is your binding phrase at CiottiFPV? Limit says, is it me? The 36,000 kV motors come with super short cables. They do indeed. I got 3 of them, all super short. Yeah, I actually really like that because that makes them a little bit lighter. And the extra cable, you know, a 702 motor, you're never going to run it on anything other than a 65 millimeter frame. And if you do, it's going to suck. So the really short cables kind of prevent you from running it on like a 75. And I kind of think that's a good thing. So yeah. Q Silver Media says, is HDZero and analog the same right-hand polarization? I believe that they do ship HDZero with right-hand circular polarization, but there's nothing about HDZero or analog or digital or anything for that matter that would prevent you from running left-hand. Like, any of these systems will run on right-hand or on left-hand. It's just that DJI, in their infinite wisdom, chose to go left-hand circular polarized when they came out with the original Vista. And then for some reason, everybody else that's done a digital system went, oh, we'll do that too. And so now all of us with all these right-hand antennas from analog are like, what the fuck? So there's that. But yeah, there's no reason that you can't run any of these VTXs on either right hand or left hand. You just need to make sure that whatever is on your goggles is what's on the quad. Right hand on goggles, right hand on quad, left hand on goggles, left hand on quad. If for some reason if you don't have enough antennas to do that, then you need to run linear. Linear works on both. So right hand with linear, left hand with linear is totally fine. It's not quite as good as right and right or left and left, but yeah, there's the full answer to the question. CMYK says, Ripsqueak version 1 OG, same arms as the V2, or am I tripping? Top and bottom plates are available. Same arms. Yep, same arms V1 versus V2 on the Ripsqueak. That's weird that I wore my BQE shirt today. The Ripsqueak has not been in stock in forever. So yeah, if you have Ripsqueaks and you've been waiting on top and bottom plates and or arms, it looks like the top and bottom plates are what's in stock. It looks like the arms aren't in stock. Maybe they are, though. But, yeah, same arms. DJ Beef says, awesome. Thank you. By the way, your intro-outro music is dope. Thank you, dude. That was just a guy that I found on Instagram that had some cool beats. I messaged him. I said, hey, man, how much? I want to buy a bunch of your beats. I love them. And he's like, you know what? I haven't done that in many years. I'm just going to send them to you. And he sent me a folder of them, and those are two of my favorites. Metalritson says, you were also name-checked in the page for the 8mm Glide, if you didn't already see that. Oh, no way. That's really cool. FPVCycle 8mm Glide frame kit. Look at that. Yeah, so this is the new Glide as well. Oh, what just happened? There we go. Ah! Hey! Ah! Oh, that's terrific. 8mm thick arms. Yeah, he told me he was going to do 8mm thick arms. I was like, you all right, dude? I didn't think you smoked weed, but Jesus, obviously you've started. The hell? But yeah, he made the arms nice and thin. What's it weigh? That's just terrific. Wow, 115 grams, 8mm thick arms, and it's only 115 grams. That right there, man. That Bob Ruge, he knows what's up, man. He knows what's up. He was asking me for the most recent conversation we had about this frame was trying to name it, and I gave him a couple suggestions that weren't that great, and it looks like he doesn't really have a name for it yet. But that's actually good. I think it should be called the Glide, because I don't know why, because I said so. Some guy FPV says, I didn't know you thought so highly of Mappymodel AIOs. I've had nothing but burnouts on all of mine, as in a durability way, not QC related. I think HDLRC Spectre 10 amp is awesome. I'm glad that you mentioned the HDLRC Spectre 10 amp on one of the live streams from last week. I think it was. Somebody commented and said, do you have any experience with the HDLRC Spectre AIO? I just got one. I said no, but I've had a hard time with HDLRC in the past. Hopefully their new stuff is better. A couple of days later, he replied back and said, well, the one was the DOA, and then I had another one that was coming, and that other one only lasted 4 batteries. So I'm glad that your Spectre 10 amp is running for you, some guy. But at the moment, I've got a sample size of 3. One of them yours that works, and then these 2 that don't. So 33% is not good enough for me to recommend anything in terms of durability. Mappymodel AIOs, they only have one. Well, maybe now 2, but there's only one that's actually durable, which is the old school 5G F4 we just sold out on Pyrodrone. Every single other Mappymodel AIO that I've run has either been a complete nightmare or is very iffy. The X12 is the one that's iffy. My first X12 only lasted a couple batteries. I heard from a whole bunch of people that theirs were blowing up too. 6 months go by, I got another one, and it's actually been fine. I haven't flown a ton of batteries through it, but it's lasted way longer than the original one. So the X12 might be okay. Every single other Mappymodel AIO that I've ever run has been a disaster. The Diamond is the worst. It's arguably the worst flight controller that's ever been built, as far as I'm concerned. The Cross, the Mappymodel Cross AIO, uses a USB port that is way too long for no reason, and it didn't really fly all that good anyway, so that thing can go to hell. The old Super X AIO was a disaster as well. The new Super X AIO, though, seems like it's really good. I've put a ton of punishment through this one, and it's held up. So yeah, and then their motors are awesome. But Mappymodel for the longest time, and still today, has a reputation for not making good quality stuff. Go figure, though, their stuff is incredibly inexpensive, right? So, like, we're asking, if you buy something that's super inexpensive, you're asking for it, right? Oh, I think the stream is blipping again. Come on now. I'm just going to keep going. So yeah, it's the fact that their old school Mobula 6 AIO was so durable is like unbelievable, because it's really inexpensive and it's from a company that classically makes stuff that's not super reliable. But yeah, all the rest of their AIOs can go to hell forever. Metaderson says, I keep hearing people say that circular polarization does basically nothing at the sizes we're using. DJI at least seems to really not give a fark. I've not heard that before. My recent testing of linear antennas versus true RC singularities actually kind of supports what you're saying, but I think that's more because of antenna placement, as we've been talking about. I always thought that I saw a noticeable improvement going from a linear antenna to a CP, but when you've spent $20 on a CP antenna, your brain is going to really work hard to make you think that it's better. And I am not immune to that. So that's super interesting. Food for thought. Martin Tanley says, any idea why it's hard to get the new Mobula frames? Is there a better alternative option? Just because they're new. You know, when anything's new, we all buy them, and then they're out of stock for a while. The new Mobula frame is really interesting. I still think I like the Cockroach V3, the NewBie Cockroach 65 V3 better, mainly because the duct height. The duct height on the Cockroach V3 is perfect. The duct height on every other frame is too high, and the propeller rides below the duct, and when you crash into stuff, the duct pushes in, and then the propeller slides out under it, and then the propeller smashes into the wall or whatever it may be. With the NewBie duct, the propeller rides perfectly in the center of the duct. So when you hit something, the propeller pushes into the duct, scrapes off, and you like bounce off of stuff. With the duct up too high, it doesn't like bounce off of stuff as nicely. It like hits stuff and like melts into it because the propeller shoots under and stalls out, and it's kind of a mess. All that being said, the new Mobula 6 2024 frame is 0.2 of a gram lighter, and that's not nothing. So yeah, I do like it a lot, so much so that I bought a second one, also because I'm a vain bastard and I want to put a different canopy. Oh God, we got to talk about this, but I got this in clear because I want to put a clear old school Mobula 6 canopy onto the Mobula 6 2024. SlowCal, who hangs out in the chat quite a bit, bought two Mobula 6 2024s, and on the first day of flying them, broke both of the cameras, which to me is a problem with this stupid ass G-string fucking camera mount that I've always hated. This style of camera of canopy, I don't know, I'm not gonna call it a canopy. It's not a canopy. It's a G-string. It offers like practically no protection to the camera. It also opens the window for the camera to slam into the AIO and kill the AIO. So yeah, this style of camera mount can go to hell forever as far as I'm concerned. Mappymodel has made the most ultimate amazing canopy, and it's right here. This thing is awesome. This is just a Mobula 6 canopy. If you search any FPV store for Mobula 6 canopy, this is what'll come up, and it's awesome. This is what you want. I'm going to be moving my Mobula 6 2024 over to this canopy so that I don't also kill my camera. And I think you should too. So yeah, we'll do that one of these days. CMYK says, do you have a BQE affiliate link? I do not. I don't think they have an affiliate program set up, to be honest. Upside says, give me 2 hours, about to try soldering. You'll be all right. Martin Tanley said, nope, we got that. 661 says, everything except 3-inch arms are in stock at BQE. He is up and running again. Hell yes. Wow, it's so weird that I just happened to wear my BQE shirt today. So good to have Bill back. Man, that's awesome. I missed him. Bill's a great guy. Really, really, really great guy. That had a whole bunch of real life shit come up that would have kicked anybody's ass 10 times harder than it kicked his ass. He is a strong, resilient, awesome guy. And I'm so happy that he fought his way through it. And he's got that store back up because, yeah, BQ has some really, really, really cool stuff. Awesome. God, I love that. Some guy says, I want to recall my HDLRC comment. I've had 2 crazy F411s and 3 2G4 AIOs die. I did track it down to a short in the VTX amplifier, so I'm in the process of trying to fix it. Interesting. I can't believe you tracked that down. Good on you for that. Frank Nicholas says, 10:02 p.m. and the stream seems okay for me. Awesome. 661 says, you may not be interested, but check out the Ripsqueak HD. If you haven't seen it already, it's a longer frame that fits 2 20x20 stacks. Dude, oh my God. That frame, that's not it. Their SEO has just imploded, and I can't even find them on. There we go. That double 20x20 stack frame was supposed to come out eons ago. God, I was talking to Bill about, he was sending me CAD drawings of that frame 2 years ago. Christ, maybe even 3 years ago. And I was so sad that it never made it onto the website. And it looks like it still hasn't made it onto the website. Where is it? Where are you seeing it? I'm not seeing it on here anywhere. But yeah, that was like one of the very last things he did. Is it maybe a part of this page? Is there maybe like a drop down? Slammed. No. Where are you seeing that? Hey, look at that guy. Is it maybe on their homepage? If I look through our conversation, I'll have a bunch of prototype drawings of it. But yeah, where are you seeing it? I'm not seeing it anywhere on the website. Although, what if we do this? That drives me over to here. This is not it. This is the V2, which is a little bit longer, but it's not set up for double 20x20 mounting. Yeah, where are you seeing it, brother? Walter says, I bought the Super X ELRS version, Mobula 6 2024. Nice, dude. You'll love it. Metal Dirtson says, the only time I ever killed a Mobula 6 AIO in a crash was running one of those thong camera mounts. Avoid. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's cool. Metal Dirtskin says, can confirm, I sort of know Bill through a different internet subculture. He has good people. I can't help but be curious, but no, you don't have to tell. You certainly don't have to tell everyone. You don't have to tell me either. 661 says, yes, I've been waiting literally years for the HD frame. I have a long-range build on one. No way. CMYK with a link. Hopefully that's to it. Oh, so that's to the body. Whoa. Nope, that's not it. That's just the little front and rear extendo pieces. Is it maybe in here? It's not in here. So I get what do you have? A prototype 661? I see how it is, Bill. You send 661 a prototype, but not me. Bastard. Beef body. Beef body main plate. Yeah, so here's the stuff that's in stock. Oh wait, oh, no. Yeah, right. That's just the V2. Just the V2 bottom plate. Very cool. Come on, YouTube. There we go. 661 says, under Ripsqueak V2, click arm size. Oh, sweet. V2. And then body style standard, prop size, long body. Oh, look at that. Very, very cool. Oh, he doesn't have any pictures of it up. Got it. Okay. Although that looks... The V2 design looks long, but it's not. It's just skinny. Damn. Okay. What's that rig weigh? That's got to be light for a 4-inch. Damn, long body, very cool, man. A total blast from the. Like my mind is like blown right now because it's been so long since Bill and I talked FPV. We were talking like mental health and stuff for a while after the shop didn't really close, but like, yeah, you guys know what I mean. It just, yeah. God, I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy that he's got the store back up. God damn it. 661 says sub 250. Wow. Sub 250 with 1404s and a run. Oh, run cam split. You got that thing slammed, don't you? Sub 250 with 1404s, 4-inch props, big long body, and a run cam split. So the run cam split is a single 20x20. So you're doing the run cam split in the rear. And then what are you doing in the front? You doing an AIO in the front to really slam it? Or are you doing a stack in the front? Good God, it's 10:15 already. What were we going to do today? Did we do it? Oh, we're going to fly this guy. We're going to do 5 batteries. I don't have 6, but we're going to fly this guy because this setup is now... This is now my new Walksnail digital RC drift car chasing setup, which is... harder, better, faster, and stronger than the previous setup, which was in a fractal carbon fiber frame. This thing is amazing. We flew it a tiny little bit on the stream on Monday, and it just kind of blew my tits off. So my best friend! Here he is! You came in just in time! Oh, buddy! There he is. Oh no, he's in a mood. He's in a mood. Stop chewing. Be less of a puppy. Oh, he's biting me. Oh, he's biting me. Oh. 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 Oh no! Oh no! You're gonna fall! Oh! No! 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 You're gonna fall, buddy! No! Oh God! Oh! It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Did you get that out of your system? He just let out like a big sigh. That's hard work. Oh! 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 Relax! Relax! It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Oh, man. I did it now. Oh. Oh, he stopped. Oh, no. Here he comes again. Oh, he left! He's like, fuck this. He just ran right up the stairs. Usually this spawns at about 20 or 30 laps of the basement. Alright, yeah, we're gonna fly this a little bit. Oh, no. Oh, he's bringing toys. Oh, God, no. He looked right at you guys. Oh, you are such a little shit. Can you calm down, buddy, just for like another 15 minutes? No, because I'm going to start flying. That's okay. We're going to fly a little bit. We'll have some Teddy Spaghetti time in HD. Duck's going to need therapy. Oh, shit. Here we go. It's time. It's time! Wait, no, that's not what he says. I don't know. I don't know what Michael Buffer says. Bruce Buffer, whoever the fuck his name is. Alright. Here we go. This is Cockroach 65 V3 frame, Beta FPV Cross Style AIO, Walksnail Light with the heat shield removed, True RC Singularity, ultra short, and this very cool new 3D printed camera mount that Timmons designed for us. BT 2.0, 0702, 36,000 kV motors, Gemfan biblades. This camera mount is incredible, and I'm only like 2 batteries into it, and I'm so looking forward to flying more. This thing feels so good, and the runtime is bananas compared to when I had it in the Fractal setup. So let's put some more batteries through this, and I also want to mess around. I'm really looking forward to a 10mm lens version of this mount to build. Well, first of all, the analog drift car chasing rig, but also I want to build a freestyle rig with this and see how it is to freestyle, no ducked in view, 0-degree up tilt. So that's coming soon. Those files just got sent to Bob Noxious, I think today. We are almost done. I have given Timmons all of the feedback that I possibly can. And so we are at, like, sort of the final-ish version of this really cool little camera mount. Ah, the fluff! Blowing the fluff up! Oh, no fucking way! Oh, buddy, careful! I think it got him. I think he went like pulled back because he got a little beard hair in there. But stop! Hold on, let me take off, dog. Come on. Stop it! Let me take off! Where is he? Oh no! There he is. Stop it! No, no! Oh, I definitely got him that time. Daddy! Look at look at the fluff blowing in the wind! Oh, doggy! Oh, wow. That is terrific. All right, so I got to try to not crash this rig. So this is like the cinematic chase rig. So I don't want to beat these motors up. So everything is going to be backed off in terms of like flying this. But what's wild is like this. Yeah, like I said, I'm really looking forward to doing an analog freestyle rig with this camera mount. Oh, that hurt. Because this seems like it's totally freestylable. This camera mount only weighs 0.6 of a gram, which is basically what any canopy is going to weigh. So there's a massive weight savings over the carbon fiber setup that you would need to run no ducts in view from Fractal. You're also going to get more thrust because there's less shit obstructing the thrust below the ducts, right? There's nothing. This is just a full-blown plastic frame. And then you're also going to get much better durability. So like all the things, right? All the things are going to improve using this camera mount versus the Fractal setup, which is just awesome. Because, you know, if nothing else, why would you want to support a company that's trying to tear down other people in the FPV space? Like, that's just not a cool thing to do. So, yeah. And this is free. This will be made free for you to grab and have printed. I'm going to try to have a bunch of them on hand here that if you want to support me, you can just send me like $5, $6 for shipping, and I'll send them out to you. All right, so we are at 3.5 volts. I wonder what the runtime is going to be. Let's see. 242. Good God! And we were doing a bunch of full throttle blipping and blopping. On the Fractal setup, I never got more than 2 minutes. Usually, I would get 1:50. But yeah. Oh God, I've never gotten more than 2 minutes. What's that? Why are you beeping? What are you beeping for? What? What's happening? Turn them off and on. That fixes all the things. Wow, 2 minutes and 40. Rad. Hell yeah. All right. So that was a big old face first crash. And everything looks fine. The camera is like really nicely braced against the plastic frame. Yeah, it just works, man. It just works. I'm in love. I'm in love with a tiny whoop camera mount. Man, I've been like, oh God, I've messaged so many people in like the tiny whoop world to try to see like, hey, how do we mount a camera up front easily, simply? And I've just gotten nowhere for like months, like 6 months. And all I needed to do was get in touch with Timmons. And he'd be like, yo, although eventually I did kind of figure out how to do it. So I was able to give Timmons, like, I was able to show him, like, this is what I'm thinking. Oh! Oh! Buddy, why? He gave a little growl. Oh, let's go upstairs. There's a terrible idea. Want to see why digital is amazing? Look how good it is upstairs. No multipathing, no bullshit. Just crystal fucking clear. I think I have this thing on like 25 milliwatts too. 25 million watts. Well, that was a brownout. Oh, this battery has shit its pants. Hold on. Let me limp it home. This battery's going in the garbage. I gave this battery another chance. Oh, it just browned out. Okay. Yeah, this battery's going in the goddamn garbage. Okay. Yeah. You ever, if you're ever wondering if a battery is shit, Oh, it's not even bouncing back up. This battery is fresh off the charger. So it browned. See, look, the voltage is bouncing all the way back up to 373, but on that tiny little full throttle blip, it browned the receiver. It browned the VTX out, which means that it dropped below like I think it's like 3.2 volts. It's yeah. This battery is toast. There's one more battery in here that's also toast, and I think it's this one. So let's get this out of the way, and then I'm gonna. I hate getting rid of these batteries, so I always give them a second and a lot of times even a third chance. But 661 says split in the front, receiver on top, 20x20 AIO in the rear with 20x20 rush tank on top of that. Gone 4 miles. Whoa, 4 miles with it so far. Damn. Dude, that's rad. Very cool. Upside says biscuits. Darren says, just wondering about that cockroach framer run a long time ago. Never heard back. Just curious. Know you're busy. No worries. Darren, I must not have gotten your email because I'm up to date on those, but you're certainly still in the list, I'm sure. Go to CiottiFPV.com. I have a bunch of different ways you can contact me. Instagram is the best, but there's also a Discord channel. Yeah, send me your first, last name, and whatever your YouTube name was when you won it, and I'll reply back with it. Sorry about that, brother. I don't know what happened there. Maybe if you emailed me, it could have gone to spam. But for right now, enjoy this dog. Oh! I got him! Oh yeah, look at this battery falling on its face in the bottom left corner. 3.7, 3.6. Fresh off the charger. Oh, now it's browning out. Oh, shit. Alright, so yeah, this is the other battery. The battery in the goggles is going dead. That's annoying. I just put this battery on here. Battery issues. Oh, nope. Yeah, no, this battery is dead. Man, the Walksnail goggles really hammer on... I mean, all these digital goggles hammer on batteries. I'm sure I have another one floating around here somewhere. How about... Yeah, let's see. Do you have any juice left? Yep. Okay. Putting another Fat Shark battery on here. Hang on. Hang on. And throwing away that other battery. Upside says he'll take your wife. He already has. Okay. Fresh battery on goggles. Powering back up. Pulling battery from quad. Throwing battery in the goddamn river. Alright. 2 less janky batteries. That's a score. This is a much newer battery. Let's see how it does. Also, Walksnail for Tiny Whoop Freestyle, I am definitely not sold on. The extra 6 grams is really tough, even with really powerful motors. The extra weight is just kind of nutty. And then the other problem is the latency. Like with Tiny Whoops, everything happens so fast. So you really have to have everything low latency. And like, I think I can really notice the difference. Usually I feel like I can't necessarily tell differences in latency. Wow, he was really going after it that time. But with Tiny Whoops, I'm 99% sure, I gotta scratch my nose, that I can tell a difference in the latency. When I moved from FR Sky to ELRS, I absolutely noticed the decrease in latency. And so it would stand to reason that with this, with the video link, you know, the change in latency would be there. and just as noticeable. I mean, the difference in latency is obviously there, right? Like, it's been tested. But, yeah, I don't know. Oh, God. So the extra weight of this rig, basically, like, it just... When I come off the throttle... Oh, my God, really? When I come off the throttle, it falls out of the air a lot faster than what I expect. Oh, get it, Teddy. Get it. Get the intruder. It's an intruder, buddy. Stand up for me and get it. Come on, buddy. Chase it. Chase it. He seems to like it when it's on the ground. Is it just a low elevation thing? Chase it, dog. Ooh. Look how much taller you are than it. Oh, he just lays down. He's like, nah, man. If it's flying, I ain't into it. If it's a ground-based craft, I'm gonna eat it. Minute and 51, this battery is obviously not super healthy. Which would make sense, because it's a little puffy. Can you hear that? That's it being all puffy when I try to get it out of the bay. I ordered... That's one of the newer batteries that I ordered recently, but I over-discharged a whole bunch of those in a row. And that is most certainly one of the ones that I over-discharged. Let's see if maybe... I mean, so far we've had one decent condition battery. That first one. Maybe this one will be good, but I doubt it, because this is... Nope. It's already at... Nah, it's 4.3. There we go. Hey. There he is. Ah, the glorious fluff. That glorious poodle-ish fluff. Oh, no! Oh, look at it blowing in the wind! You are majestic, my boy! I will never get sick of that. Never, ever, ever. Get out from under the desk. Come out of here so I can orbit you. I can't orbit you when you're under here. Maybe I can. I gotta orbit me, though. Man, when it's in the air, he is not super into it. But the second it's down, maybe not. There he is. Working up the courage. Working up the courage. Doesn't know if he wants to eat it or not yet. Thinking about it. Thinking about it. I can't wait for you, buddy. Yeah, no, this battery's falling on its face. 3.5. I was hoping fucking around with the dog would make this battery last a little bit longer, but no such luck. Oh! I'm an idiot. I knew the battery was getting low. With these little Walksnail builds, like when the battery starts to get low, just don't hammer full throttle, especially if you're on 0702 36,000 kV motors. How did it get all the way up on the couch? Yeah, like I can probably limp this around for 30 more seconds, but going full throttle with the 36,000 kV motors is just absurd. Oh god. What's funny is when it was on the ground bouncing and the PID loop was asking for a bunch of power, it was starting to brown out. Which is kind of neat. Now we're at 3.2. No more. Yeah, minute 59. I mean, here's what's funny. Minute and 59 is more than I would get when this was on the Fractal build with a fresh brand new battery. So that's kind of wild. All right. Well, this I need to just get rid of. I should get rid of this battery as well, and this one. As a matter of fact, I have some fresh batteries coming, so I guess I'll get rid of this one. That's all poofy as well because it's just annoying. to have these batteries mixed in that I ruined. And it's a reminder. Hey, idiot, look, you ruined this battery. Upside says, remember to tell him that you love him. Oh, he knows. He knows I love him. Right, buddy? Did your little beard hairs get a little haircut from the drone? Is that what happened? Do you like it? Do you like getting your hairs tangled in vicious blenders? Flying blender faces? Oh, you are a fluffy little dog, and I love it. Oh. Teddy and I wish you a very happy Wednesday. That's all I've got for you this afternoon. Wait, hold on. Upside says, that's a big expensive question, Sean Lewis. Media 04X here. HDZero versatility asks CiottiFPV future or fun or few quid, no problem. Sean Lewis says, what goggles are you using? I really need to get back into FPV, just trying to get ideas. So these are the now very inexpensive Teddy just sniffed them. Walksnail Avatar goggles. They're also sold under the Fat Shark Dominator name. And for the money, these are phenomenal. I think you can get a set of these for like $360 or something. I don't know. Look up Walksnail Avatar goggles, Fat Shark Dominator goggles, and you'll find them. I think the Fat Shark Dominator versions are going to be less expensive. And they're just white. They're the same goggles, but they're white. Walksnail, so the video system, so you're getting back into it. This is a crazy time to get back into it. Analog still exists. A step up from analog is HDZero. It's got the low latency of analog, but and slightly better video quality, but the breakup looks terrible. And yeah, I don't know. HDZero is mainly for racing. I'll just put it that way. Then the next step up is like old school DJI, which you probably know about already. Nothing wrong with that. You can't really see him, but yeah, you know old school DJI probably. Next step up is going to be Walksnail, which is old school DJI but improved. Instead of 720p, it's 1080p, 60 frames, pretty much the same latency, very similar system, but just polished and just better. And I think Walksnail is the end all be all. Other than with really hardcore freestyle tiny whoops, then it's analog. And now there is something called DJI's O3 system. And that is another step up in video quality, but a step down in latency and weight as well, and cost. The O3 system is incredibly expensive, but the video quality is phenomenal. It also records 4K on board, so it's like a split camera, which comes with its own set of sort of challenges. Like if you want to film in 30 frames per second, your latency is going to be brutal because it's filming in 30 frames a second. So yeah, it's kind of tough, but the O3 system is fantastic for a lot of things. As a dedicated FPV, VTX, and camera, where you're going to run an external GoPro, I don't think it makes much sense. Although the range is unbelievable. It's got the best range out of pretty much anything right now. So yeah, those are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the different systems. Those are the different systems that are available. Welcome back, my friend. Much has changed. Not nearly as much has changed as you would actually think, though, to be honest. And loads of us still fly analog, myself included. Upside says, very good Teddy for a young dog. He is. He is a good boy. Thanks for hanging, friends. I love you. Here comes some more flying from earlier today with these 0802 30,000 kV, this 0802 30,000 kV Jungle Gym Basher, as I call it. Hold on, this might not be it. No. Here is the 40 seconds that I got on the 27,000 kV rig. Say bye-bye, Teddy. Come on, work. There it goes. See you guys Friday at 7. Come on. Later, friends. CiottiFPV.com for support if you want to see these live streams continue. We are completely crowdfunded. 0802 27,000 kV Mobula 7 1S ELRS. Bye-bye.